Hey, welcome to Talk of the Town with Jon Adams. Family, it is a festive week. This has to be, let's start with the obvious. If you're tuning in, if you happen to be tuning in on YouTube or on my Facebook page, you might notice that the feed looks a little different. And it looks a little different because there's hardware in the photo. Your boy got it done this weekend. As you guys know, I play in the Decor Invitational. This tournament is set up to raise money for youth golf in Minneapolis, youth golf in Liberia, as well as contributing to the ongoing effort to build a golf course in Liberia. So just a little bit about the tournament. First, I want to say hats off to the tournament organizers, E-Man, Ernest, Nebo, and they have a young man. His name is Calvin. God, it's naturally I'd forget his last name. Forgive me. But anyway, this guy, he put together a heck of a tournament. But the backstory to all this is that I went down the first year 4 years ago and played in this tournament, and I did well the first day and got crushed the second day, and same thing happened the second. And then last year, for whatever reason, I shot 95 out of the gate. And I can tell you something about golfers in this tournament. They don't care. How can I say, they were very mean to me, to put it bluntly, to put it lightly. Well, this year, I worked with my golf coach, Abraham T.L. Watson. He's a local golfer here. He finished fourth, a strong fourth, by the way. Well, we worked for 2 weeks. I think I golfed eight times in 10 or 12 days or whatever it was. But we were determined that one of the two of us was going to go down and win this thing. So as it happens, I went down there. It's a net tournament. For those of you guys that don't know what net is, according to the USGA, I'm a 10 handicap right now, which means my net score, if I shoot 80, would be 70. Well, as it turns out, your boy went 79 the first day. Well, 79 translates to -3 net. And I was leading the defending champ by one stroke going into the second day. It's a 2-day total deal. And I have to tell you, there was I think I had 3 birdies on the front 9 after 6, 2 or 3. And number 7 came up. And for those of you who know me, the regular golf guys that know me know that I'm good for going low. Well, then I'll stick a 8 or a 9 out there. Well, true to form, I stuck a 9 on after the 7th hole, and the defending champ says, and I quote, "Man, looks like you're going to lose the golf tournament on one hole." Yeah, he actually said that. Mr. Nebo, I told you, I'm coming at you with both feet now. Anyway, so as it were, it was an epic battle. And I can tell you that after the second 18, I thought for sure, oh, man, I lost this. But I forgot that I had led by 1 stroke on Saturday. So as it were, it comes out, your boy won the trophy here. I'll just hold it up so y'all can see it before we get to what we're going to talk about. Yeah. So, yeah, that's the trophy. If you want to come see it or you want to come get autographs, it'll be at the house, or you can stop by the station. I'll be here for the next hour if you guys want to chime in. But, it's funny because Gerald is like, "Oh, you won? Oh, congratulations." My youngest, Jackson, he knew I was going to act a fool today. He knew that I was. So I could tell you what's happened. So we treated this trophy like the Stanley Cup. The only place it didn't go is it didn't go out to the Mape, which is my home course, because let's face it, you bring a traveling trophy out to the Mape, they will talk about you like a dog. So, I'll keep this championship on this side of the highway where people can appreciate what's been done. But with that, I want to say, listen, I wanted to talk today first about charity, and what it means to me. And I'm not going to talk about it in terms of, well, these are the groups that I support because I feel like I should. I mean, I don't want to sound like I'm bragging when I say it, but I recognize the importance of looking out for other people as well as other people's interest. You know, now that's just my own personal deal. You know, I'm not saying you have to or you had. Everybody's got their thing, and for me, you know, to support youth golf, particularly in our community, I think it's vital. I think you never know what what's going to spark a kid's interest. So for me, it's like, hey, I want to give back to charities, or I want to be involved with charities that I see an immediate effect. So one that's close to my heart is this Liberian tournament. I can tell you, man, you see those guys playing on Sunday, and you're like, man, you know, they don't look like there's any pressure. Well, I'm telling you, when you're standing over a 1 foot putt and you've got to have it to stay in the competition, that's as important as winning the British Open as an amateur, because those guys don't miss. But I can tell you, as an amateur, I've missed a 1 foot putt for a championship many a day. And as a matter of fact, sorry, Lynn. Lynn and I, as of now, won't be defending our team season league championship. We had about the worst round we've ever had, but you know, maybe we'll win our flight, whatever. But enough ramblings about golf. But it's like, you know, how do you pick what you want to be? What do you want to do in terms of looking at charities? And the funny thing is a lot of people give me ideas of what I need to talk about on the show and what's important to them. And I always say, if you're going to give something, try and find something you're passionate about, because it'll mean more. You can actually relate to what people are going through and whatever it is. You know, I mean, some people give to the YMCA, the YWCA. Nick Hawkins comes to mind. Dynasty Athletic, the level of passion that he has for these kids, working with them not only in the realm of football, but also as young men, cultivating who they are. You know, a lot of our teachers, you see their passion, which brings me to one person. I got to give him a shout out because he told me don't come back without the title. That's Mr. Byers. I see he's watching. But Mr. Byers informed me that there's 5 weeks until school starts back up, which I wasn't ready for. I mean, as you guys know, I'm a para over at oh, wait a minute. I don't know if I'm a para yet. I haven't been offered. Well, maybe I've been offered a contract. Who knows? I did sign something that said at this point, are you coming back next year? And the answer was yes. But you know, hey, listen, it's not easy employing Mr. Adams. There's a lot that comes with that. For those of you guys that know me, I could be up or down, but I like what I do because I get to speak directly to our young people in the community. I get to have an impact on them. Sometimes good, sometimes not so good, but I always feel like if your heart is in the right place, you can fix what you mess up. You know? You can fix what you mess up. And sometimes I might not say it right, or I might not know the exact policy, but trying to move kids forward in the right direction is huge. You know, I always say, look, in Fargo, if we don't cultivate our youth, pretty soon it'll be just a bunch of old guys sitting around looking at each other, you know? So, you know, that was the first thing I want to talk about. And then the second thing, Big Game James says, the second thing is, well, Big Game James didn't say the second thing. I have a second thing. But we're going to talk about, first, the Owl Legacy Foundation. That's coming up. And then I want to talk about the new phone policy in public schools. I want people to call in. Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think it's a bad idea? I'm going to go over the way that this policy is being implemented, because I'm going to be the one of the people that are directly affected. But at the same time, I think it's a long time coming. But with anything, you're going to have bumps and bruises. This is Jon Adams for Talk of the Town. We're just kicking off. If you want to call in, the phone number is 701-293-9000. We'll see you on the other end of the break. Hey, welcome back to Talk of the Town with Jon Adams. Here it is. Big game James just hit a home run for an intro. That was beyond fabulous. And you know that's going to live on forever because it's going to be on YouTube forever. Boy, do I sound like Don? It's going to be on YouTube forever. What the heck? Anyway, let's.
Sounds like your head got a little bit bigger there.
Maybe there was a. May. Oh my goodness, I can't stop talking. Maybe it was just the excitement over holy cow. But you got to realize, James, individual accolades can elude you after 60. I don't know if you're aware of this, but competitive wins, it ain't like this happens every day, right?
Hey, I'm not to 30 yet, and I'm lacking in that department. So I get it. I get it.
So I got to take them where I can because first of all, you got to remember once you're a husband, you're a second-class citizen anyway. I mean, the kids come first. That it is what it is. Are you kidding me right now? So you just do what you do. But no, you know what? It's been a lot of fun, and in particular, just going to these events and playing with these different guys and meeting different people from all parts of the world is just fun. And then the second part is I think it's such a great concept for the golf world. I mean, it's just one more avenue. And one of the things that Jerlin and I always felt like was we were never going to push our kids into one sport or another. We basically threw everything at them and let them gravitate towards what they liked. Everything except for hockey. I'm not going to lie. We kept them off skates on purpose. Okay? On purpose because, number one, I know what it takes to be a hockey parent. I sold hockey equipment for years, and it's an expensive sport. It's a lot of time, and I don't know that it's more time than any other sport, but you find out pretty early where the pecking order is for your kid in hockey. I mean, I can remember seeing, parents out on the ice with their kids, and the kid is pushing a chair and he's barely able to stand up. Well, I know that we wouldn't be dedicated hockey parents like that, and Geraldine agreed. So, but anyway, golf is one of those things. I didn't pick up golf till I was in college, but I'm glad I did because it's something that you can do forever. And then I wanted to talk about the second thing is that's kind of the decor is probably my new passion relative, but also as you guys know, I'm on the board of the Legacy Foundation. And I actually just been named this year's president. And so going forward, trying to expand on our mission, which is to meet brothers and sisters in need, give back to the community, as well as give back to MSUM for people that might be a little sensitive that I don't call it MSU. But we want to provide money for students, whether they're athletes or not athletes, as well as provide assistance to brothers and sisters of the organization. And a couple years ago, it was started in response to one of our brothers committed suicide, and that hit close to home because Darren was one of my good friends. And so with that, a group of guys set about trying to make a difference. And I think that's what it comes down to is, everybody's got an opinion on what you should do, but the big thing is, it's the give back portion. And like I said, I'm 60. My wife and I, we've done pretty well. We've raised two wonderful sons. I think we've done it the right way. And so now it's like, what do you do with your life now? And working in the schools and stuff, that's great. But also, I think we have to continue to be a part of the community at large. We all need to contribute to the greatness that is Fargo. We need to contribute to our youth. One of the things is I think people don't understand about Fargo is our youth sports climate is absolutely amazing. Okay? But it can be less inclusive than people think. I mean, it's like we need to make sure that we have an FM athletics. that we have a Dynasty Elite program. That we have more than one entity providing these opportunities for these kids. And I can tell you, growing up, the JCs, the Boys Club, the Shriners, all of those type of groups, they provided me an opportunity to explore myself as an athlete, develop my talents that would eventually allow me to go to college. That's pretty significant. I mean, based on where I came from to where I am now, well, it's the same thing that we have to look at what we're doing here, okay? Do we still have a passion? Are people still moving in that direction? And I know a lot of people that are doing a lot of things in the community, but I would encourage people not to sit back and think somebody else is going to do it. The beauty of the United States is that we all feel like we can. We all feel like we should have an opportunity. And when we don't, a lot of things that you see happening today are based on lack of opportunity. And people not only not having the opportunity or not given the opportunity, if they want the opportunity, but people actively taking that opportunity away. Me personally, that's not American, To me, America is always going to be or should be the place where people look at it and say, I can, without people on the other saying, no, you can't, or taking away those opportunities. Now, believe it or not, that's the only rant that I'm going to have for today. But the Owl Legacy Foundation, we have 3 events. The first event, always the kickoff, is going to be homecoming, and we're going to have a tailgate. And we're going to provide free food for students and youth, as well as we'll be asking for goodwill donations. I mean, one of the things is we just want people to come out and be a part of the Morehead State experience, and as well as see some people that we haven't seen in a long time. So homecoming is October 4th. I believe we're playing Minot State. Now, it's been a long time since I thought about homecoming, but I do know this. We always picked a team that we could beat to ensure the victory so that donors would give more and everybody would have a good time on that weekend. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing my brothers. Now, I want to let everybody know, if you want to be able to buy, if you want to buy a copy of this Owl Legacy Foundation, it talks about the organization, the influence, the people that have gone through the program, have been a part of the Owls, the number of stellar people. We've had a number of presidents that were Owls. As a matter of fact, we made Dr. Downs, Tim Downs, an honorary Owl, which I think that guy, I think he's moving Morehead State in the right direction. I think he's what Morehead State needs right at the time right now. So with that, we have that part now. At the top of the show, I said I was going to talk about the new policy that Kelly Armstrong and lawmakers passed into law, and that is the no cell phones during instructional period in state high schools. And so there has been there's been a lot of discussion about it, but I'm going to come out right off the top and say, I think it's about time. Okay, I think it's about time because for me, I've always said that you go to school to get an education and nothing else, and that was the message that we brought forth to our kids. That's the message that I carry to my athletes when I coached. It's the message that I bring to the kids that I see at Davies, that you're here to get an education. The sports, the choir, all of those other things, those are extremely important. But you have definitely got to take care of business in the classroom. We know that. There's no two ways about it. So for me, my passion when I'm in there and I'm in the school with the kids is hey, make a difference and help them see the importance of getting a good education. And I always tell them, hey, look, you know what? I had an opportunity to get a great education, but I didn't take full advantage. I'm fond of saying I had a solid 2.2 GPA. At times, I think it might have been even lower, but everybody makes choices, right? But the point is, when I'm in the school. It's important for us that we encourage these kids, get your education, find your passion, find what you're passionate for, what you're passionate about, and do that. So, with that, I think that if you look at society today, I was just talking to a restaurant owner. He was telling me it's sad that he sees people come in his restaurant. Shout out to Sauces down on Little Cormorant, used to be Swanee's. But he was telling me how he would sit and look at people coming to his business, families coming into his business, and everybody's either got a tablet or they've got a phone, and there's no interaction, you know? Now, it's my position that we have to do something to get back to our kids learning how to communicate. Okay? There are studies that show that our kids are losing the ability to have effective conversation, to be able to make salient points just to people that they're speaking to. You know, to be able to express themselves appropriately using the appropriate language and concepts. Well, it's like anything. You know, you want to be a good golfer, you practice. You want to be a good athlete, you practice. You want to be a good violinist, you practice. Well, where are they practicing communication skills if their nose is in a tablet or their nose is on a phone? I mean, you know, even as adults, sometimes I go out and Jerlyn will tell me, really? Put your phone on. Anybody who knows me knows that I have a social media addiction. I love Facebook. I love TikTok. I love Instagram. You know, to me, it's just to look at it. It's just fascinating to see the human condition play out in real time. The one thing that I'm always perplexed by is how people can put their personal business out to the world. You know, now I'll share posts, you know, of winning and maybe you know, when my sister died and stuff like that. But my mom always used to say, "Hey, listen, you keep your family business in the family, okay?" But I see people on social media just putting it all out there, and it's like, holy cow, that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. Well, look at social media and then look at what our kids. I'm always tickled because a lot of the students just want to do TikToks. You know, they want to do kid stuff, and the hard part is how do you balance that with making sure that they're not disturbing other people and that other people are allowed to get the education that they want, you know, in the spaces that they deserve to, you know, like if they're in the commons, are you interrupting people studying? So it's like, okay, how do we balance the phone use with education? Big Game James says we got to go to break. When I come back, I want to hear you guys' opinion on the matter because if you're a parent, how are you going to handle this? I'm going to go through some of the implementation policy when I get back on the other end of the break. If you want to call in, the phone number is 701-293-9000. Welcome back to Talk of the Town with Jon Adams. I've been talking about not charitable donations, but being involved actively in various charities or the give back portion of what we should be doing as citizens in the United States. So, also, last segment I talked about the fact that the North Dakota has implemented a phone policy that bans phones during instructional periods at all North Dakota high schools. So I'm just going to read you. This is it's on the Fargo Public Schools website. So if you're not sure, you can go on the website. You can download exactly what the document is and the policy is. I would encourage you to do so because I've read this thing twice now, and it seems pretty cut and dry the way things are going to play out. And there are some discretionary things that happen within this policy that may allow some leeway or some exceptions to the phone policy, but I wouldn't count on focusing on that as a way to circumvent what I think we should have all along. So the rationale behind the phone policy to increase the use of the increasing use of electronic devices in schools has shown to impact students' behavior, mental health, and academic performance. This policy is established to foster an environment conducive to learning, limiting distractions, and protecting the privacy and well-being of all students and staff while ensuring compliance with North Dakota law NDCC 15.1-07. So, reading that fast, they're basically saying, hey, look, we understand that phones are a problem. Okay? And if anybody's been in any place, we know that phones are a problem. Now, my premise is we send our kids to school to learn, to get an education. And so we have to be mindful of that as parents, okay? My kids had phones, okay, but they knew that they better dang well limit it and use it in the way it's supposed to be used. Now, I don't ever remember getting a call about my son's cell phone use, either one of them, But I think it also comes down to how do you choose to look at the phone? Now, I always told my kids that school is like a job, okay? And when you're at your job, you can't be on your phone and be on your job at the same time. You can, doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be doing everything you need to do. And we don't have to look any further than there were a couple times when I failed to open the door quickly enough because, I don't know, maybe I was playing Block Blast, but it became very apparent that that's not a good way to behave, So I think it starts with putting it in its proper context, and that is the fact that, we're sending our kids to school to learn. Possession of the phone. All electronic communication devices must be silenced or turned off, stowed away, and inaccessible to students during instructional time. Now, we have to define instructional time, and this means the time from the start of classroom instruction until the official dismissal of students at the end of the school day, which may be marked by the school's first and last bell, including structured or unstructured learning experience, recess, advisory, lunch period, open campus, and time between classes on the premises. This does not include private student travel time to and from an area, career and technical center, or other off-site learning experience or instructional time occurring in the virtual environments off school premises. So I'm encouraging you guys to read this. It says, and I'm going to read it again, instructional time means the time from the official start of classroom instruction until the official dismissal of students at the end of the day. Now, unless I'm mistaken, that means that phones should probably remain in their lockers during passing periods, except for the other things that I wrote. So, I'm going to skip down here because I think it's important for people to understand use and possession prohibitions. All personnel electronic communication device must be silenced or turned off, stowed away, and inaccessible. Right? Outside instructional time. Access not allowed. All personal electronic communications devices will be securely stowed away and inaccessible for the following school related activities: elementary and middle school field trips, including the bus ride to and from the field trip. Okay? Access allowed. All personal communication devices will not be required to be securely stowed away and inaccessible to students during the following related school activities: bus rides, and now this means they can have their phone, bus rides to and from school, to and from home, before the official start of instructional time, which is marked by the first bell. So that just means that, a lot of our students will show up early, before class starts. You'll be able to have your phone then once the bell rings, and no dice. Um, After the end of instructional time, which may be marked by the school last bell, shuttle buses between schools for high school, field trips for high school, sporting events, and school dances. So the to me, I think it's pretty succinct. It lays it right where it needs to be. Um, I think that the legislators have done a good job of defining where it is, and I like the fact that it's detailed enough where it makes sense to anybody who hears it. Okay, communication with parents. Now, I've said this before. I could be mistaken, but I believe there's a phone, a landline in every classroom. Okay, there are adults all throughout. There's 400 or 500 adults. I don't know what the number is, but we will have our cell phones, and I think it's an important distinction because I don't think that it's going to be a situation where it's a us or them situation. I can tell you as a proctor, I'll work off my tablet because for me, working with these students, it's going to be important that I try to set an example. So I've just decided anything that I need to do, I can do on my tablet or my personal learning device. And I think that's going to reduce some of the conflict that may, well, how come staff gets to? Well, for me, I don't even want to have that be an issue. I want to be able to focus on the relationships that I have with the students as well as getting them to class, as well as maintaining my job responsibilities. But communication with parents. Students make contact to student's parent or authorized caregiver during the school day if needed by using a school telephone made available to the student. So that kind of it sets the stage for, hey, what about if my son or daughter needs to get a hold of me? Well, there are avenues by which students will still be able to have access if something comes up. It makes sense. And I want you guys to think about this. We used to not have phones that were in schools and the world didn't fall apart. We still managed to get an education. Parents still knew what was going on with their kids despite not having cell phones. And so I just think it's something where it's going to be an adjustment period, and it's one of those things that we have to look at the big picture. We have to look at why are we doing this. And I think to get back to education is going to be a wonderful thing. Big Game James says I'm up against the break right now, so when I come back, I'm going to talk about enforcement. So if you guys have an opinion on the matter, you want to chime in, the phone number is 701-293-9000. The red light says we're rocking and rolling. I'm here for the final segment of Talking the Town with Jon Adams. So, in case you're just joining us, I'm going through the no phone policy in North Dakota public schools, and I was just giving just kind of quickly summarizing because we don't have enough time to really do a deep dive. But I think that everyone should get on the Fargo Public Schools website and really go through this and really understand that this is one more thing that is about our young people learning. This is not meant to be punitive. It's certainly not meant to say you don't have rights. But at the same time, we need to make sure that our kids are getting the education or have the opportunity to get the education that they richly deserve. Excuse me. So with that, the first thing I thought is when I heard it was coming out was, how are we going to enforce this? How are we going to get this done? And I think that the legislators have done an excellent job because they've taken enforcement really out of the hands of the teachers and the administrators because the state set the policy, okay? If you know anything about working in the schools or working for the state, it is what it is when it comes to policy. Sometimes stuff comes down and you're just like, what are they thinking? And other times, me personally, I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to it. So enforcement, violations for this policy will be addressed in accordance with the following graduated response system. And I like the fact that it's a step system, meaning that, the first offense, the student is going to be able to get the phone back at the end of the day, which means that it'll probably go to the office and then they'll have to go down to the office and they'll have to retrieve it. The second offense now, this is so I'm going to read this to you. A student's refusal to comply with turning over the electronic device, communication device during school is considered noncompliance. And for noncompliance, are defined in the Fargo Public School Code of Character and Conduct, right? So at no time shall a staff member attempt to physically take a personal communication device away from a student. I like that they put that in there. I don't want to grapple with some student over a phone. If the student chooses not to turn their phone over, then basically it is what it is. It's noted. That's first offense. Okay. Now, knowing some of our students, I think that because there's a 3-strike rule in place, it's going to be pretty clear that I don't really have to do anything. You just have to follow the rules. And the consequences are set. The second offense, now the parents get involved. And I think this is interesting because we need to have the communication with parents because there's a lot of times that parents don't know. Maybe they're working, maybe they got things going on where they don't always know. But I know that as a parent, if I had to come to school and get a phone because you didn't apply with the rule, if you're my son, you're probably not going to have your phone for a little bit. Now, the third time is interesting because it's the same thing where a parent has to come and pick up the phone, right? Or a caregiver. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Repeated or egregious violations may further result in disciplinary action up to and including long-term suspension or expulsion as determined by the building administrator in accordance with the district's suspension and expulsion policy. All confiscated devices will be stored securely by administration until they are retrieved. The district assumes no responsibility for lost, theft, or damaged personal electronics devices. So this should have been a whole show. I've read everything off. We're already up against the break. Listen, I want to thank you guys for tuning in, but I think that this phone policy is very important, and I think it bears more scrutiny, not more scrutiny, but we need to all get on the same page. I'm going to have a show more about this at a later date, but I wanted to throw it out there because in less than 6 weeks, we'll be back at school. I want to thank all of you guys for tuning in. Holy cow, it's raining outside. We won't be doing any windows today. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. You guys have a great week, and as always, stay black.